In this video, I'm going to go over the cost of living in Punta del Este, Uruguay. I'm going to be going over topics as your overall living expenses, the cost of your housing in the rental and buying markets, your food, your groceries, eating out, as there are many restaurant and cafe options, the transportation, and I'm also going to go over schools if you happen to have your family here. Now, keep in mind, Punta del Este is rather expensive when you're comparing it to the other major city of Uruguay, Montevideo, but you often get what you pay for. Punta del Este is a lot more coastal, some amazing beaches, and a lot more to do, definitely in the high season. But it is a town that is predominantly busier in high season and much slower during low season. Now, I checked out 3 different websites, and one website ended up saying that you need about 2,000, another website suggested that you needed about 3,000, and another website suggested that you needed 4,000. So in this video, I'm going to try to break it down so you have a better understanding. So if you're looking for a 1-bedroom rental in Punta del Este, you're gonna need about $1,400 for a single 1-bedroom. And if you're wanting a 1-bedroom outside of the city center, so outside of Punta del Este is Maldonado, you can probably get one for about $900 to $1,100. But if you're coming in the summer months, it's definitely going to be a lot more expensive, as pretty much everywhere raises its prices. To give you an idea, we were here for a week. I ended up spending almost $800 on the Airbnb. Now, if you're wanting something a lot larger, a single family home, it can go straight up from there, depending on definitely the area that you're in. Maldonado will be a lot cheaper than Punta del Este. And as you head towards places like La Barra, it can get a lot more expensive. It's a bit more of a kind of surfer community just outside of Punta del Este. Now, if you're renting an off-season, a 1-bedroom can easily go for about $1,000 a month and go straight up from there if you're renting in high season. Utility costs, which is electricity, water, and garbage, can range about $120 a month. Now, home fiber internet can range about $40 to $50 a month, or 1,900 Uruguayan pesos. A mobile phone plan can run about $30 to $50 a month, obviously depending on the size of data that you're going to need. Now I'm going to get into groceries. Now, Punta del Este is a quite expensive Uruguayan beach town, and things can definitely add up. Simply going to the grocery store is a lot more expensive than what you're going to find in Montevideo. Typically, for a solo food budget, you'll need approximately between $300 to $500 a month. Now, if you ended up going to the local markets and not necessarily going to Fresh Market all the time, I'm sure that you can bring that number down, as local is obviously going to be a lot cheaper than what you're going to find internationally, but those international options are definitely available at the Fresh Market. Now, eating out costs. Now, this is something that we definitely noticed hit the pocketbook. Things were quite expensive when we're comparing it to Montevideo. A meal at a budget restaurant can run you anywhere between $18 to about $20. A meal at a sit-down nice place, like for instance Capi, that we ended up going to twice, was quite a vibe, but it ended up costing anywhere between $40 to $60 per person. Obviously, there's a lot of different options, and the area that you happen to be in is obviously going to be very dependent on how much you're going to spend. If you end up going to the marina side versus being more so in the peninsula, we found that if you go more inland into where the locals hang out versus places right by the marina or beachfront, the prices are significantly cheaper. So we often ended up going to Bigote, Capi, that were more inland. This is where you're going to find a lot more of the locals versus going to a place like Moby Dick, which is right on the marina and often comes with quite a hefty price tag. We noticed going for a beer, just to give you an example, a beer was 450 Uruguayan pesos versus inland at Capi was 290 pesos. In US dollars, 450 is roughly about 11.50. 290 is approximately $7. So it's quite a difference for only going a few blocks. And we checked out another place called Huma, which actually ended up being about $19 for a cocktail, about $12 a beer. One thing that I had a hard time looking for was a gym membership. I did find one called Academy, approximately $60 a month, but it was about a 10-block walk from where we were staying. As I could only find one gym in pretty much the whole peninsula of Punta del Este. And there are a lot of boutique yoga and wellness areas as well. But I was just wanting to lift some weights. Now I'm gonna get into transportation costs. I usually typically tell people to do an Uber. Ubers are typically pretty cheap. That's not the case here. I got into a couple different Ubers that would take me from one side of the city to the other. That was roughly $20 a trip. So it's definitely the most expensive that I've had in anywhere in Latin America. Although we did catch the bus from Montevideo to Punta del Este, the total cost for that was about $50 for 2 people. And there are a lot of local buses. Those local buses can range in price from about 50 to 75 Uruguayan pesos or $3 to $4. Now, if you're starting a family here, you're probably wondering about childcare and education. An international private primary school can run you about $8,000 a year. Private preschool costs for a full day cost can range anywhere between 20,000 Uruguayan pesos to 40,000 Uruguayan pesos, which is roughly about $500 to $1,000 per month. We ended up going shopping and we just wanted to see how much things were going to cost, and we noticed that things were more expensive than what you're going to find in Montevideo. I prefer to do a lot of consignment store shopping. I didn't notice a lot of consignment stores here, but in Montevideo they had quite a few, and that's obviously where you're going to find a lot cheaper prices. Here you're obviously importing a lot of goods that import price. So an overview, Punta del Este is definitely one of the most expensive areas in Uruguay. With high housing costs and high dining out costs, it's definitely not a budget-friendly location. But when you come here, there are a lot of free activities. You'll notice quite a few people running, cycling, and just enjoying themselves on the Rambla, or just basically coming to the beach and just enjoying life. You'll notice quite a few people sipping their mate, thermos, mate, and just walking along and just enjoying life. You definitely get what you pay for. It is quite expensive, but it is a great vibe. In the high season, it's a very high energy vacation spot. It's kind of like a resort town without feeling trapped in a resort community. But keep in mind, if this is a Spanish-speaking country, so please practice your Spanish. We went to quite a few places. Some people do speak English, but we didn't hear a lot of English speaking going on around town. If you're looking to save some money, I would definitely check out Maldonado versus Punta del Este. If you look at it on a map, Maldonado is more of the beach community right when you're driving into Punta del Este from Montevideo, and then Punta del Este is the peninsula and off to the right. Now, an overview of what I think you're going to need if you're looking to live here month by month. Typically $2,000 to about $3,000, including rent. Some websites say that you can get away with about $1,600 up to about $2,500, but we noticed things to be significantly more expensive than its counterpart, Montevideo. Rent could easily be between $1,400 to $1,800 in a one bedroom in Punta del Este, whereas in Maldonado, it's probably going to be a lot cheaper. If you enjoyed this video, let me know what your biggest takeaway was down below, and watch my other videos.